So I'm building a new XR here for next year to race. This one's actually for a friend of mine. And what we're going to do, we're going to do a bunch of little videos that show all of the little pitfalls and all of the little work that's involved in building an XR. So this will probably be all winter we're going to do these little videos. Anyway, this is the first one of the series. This XR, it's a CNJ chassis, single shock. The shock's not actually in there at the moment, but it's a single shock, and it's based on 2005 cases. And I'm just going to show you a few things about the cases today, because the cases are kind of the heart of the motor, so we want to make sure that the cases are in good shape, and you don't want to build a motor around a bunch of garbage cases. A lot of stuff that you buy on eBay is not that good of stuff. So I'm just going to kind of show you a few things to look for, okay? And just for fun, I'm going to do the Mercado wheel spin here too. These cases here are actually 89 cases. Not much different from the 2005 cases that I just showed you, but these ones we can see inside of them. You got to look in this area here. There's no damage from rods breaking. Feel along this area here. Make sure that the cases have a nice smooth face, that they fit together, that they were obviously a set of cases that I've had cases where you've had to machine the faces, and you don't want to be into that situation. Then you just look for all of the holes. Make sure that you don't have to retap any of the holes. This is the time to do all of that while the cases are out and before you build the motor. You want to have all the holes tapped. You can glass bead these things with 10 beads. The finest you can find are 10 beads, so get those and it'll do a great job of cleaning these cases up. Get rid of these old bearings. They're about 10 bucks each. Press new bearings in. Don't go messing around. If the cam ever stop because your bearing seized, that it'll take out the whole motor. So you make sure that those bearings are replaced. What else? Make sure that all the oil passages are undamaged. Blow through the passages here. Make sure that this area here, blow through with an air gun. Make sure that nothing's clogged up in there. Clean these things. And last thing is probably to check to make sure that the bearings will press into there, that they don't just fall into this area. Now these ones, they're metric bearings, but the crank floats within the bearing. So you want to make sure that when the crank floats, it floats on this surface here, not that the whole bearing surface is floating and gulling this area in here. Same with this side. The bearing's got to be tight in that area. They want to press in, and the crank will float. Look in this area. Real important that there's no cracks in through here. They crack along here. When the motors were set up as Twingles in the 90s, they broke the cases. That's really why the cases are so important. This is a set of 89 cases. I'm sending them out to a good customer. I wanted to just check them over and make sure that the things are in good stead before they went out. And this is actually a really nice set of cases. Last thing, make sure that your trap door fits on. Sometimes they won't bolt up properly. They were a little bit. There was a little bit of play when they made the things. They're tough to get the dowels and all of the bolts lined up. So make sure that your trap door fits on the set of cases that you're using. Finally, the thing that's probably the most important is to make sure that your cases will fit in your frame. And that sounds kind of silly, but these things didn't go down a production line. So what happens is you may have to grind your cases in areas to fit in the frame, back in here especially. And down in here, make sure that that you can tighten those bolts in without them stripping. The last thing you want to be doing is trying to lift a 160-pound motor into your frame and finding out that you've got to take the thing out and helicoil one little bolt here because the thread was stripped. So I know it sounds kind of hokey, but you got to really spend time mocking up your cases within your frame. It's probably the first thing you want to do when you're building an XR750.